और कोई बोलते हैं थी।
वीरेंद्र भाई, आर यू रेडी? हम लोग अब लाइव जा रहे हैं. नो, आई कांट हियर यू. यू आर ऑन म्यूट.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Smita?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. That's all good.
Sumita ma'am, if you can switch on your video, yeah.
रुकिए, रुकिए। ये तो बड़ा हो गया। शाम में खाली निकलिए।
Namaskar, everyone. I welcome you to this session. It presents diverse perspectives on education through listening globally and listening locally. I'm Sheila Iyer, and I will be your moderator or Sutradhar today. To start today's session, I welcome and invite renowned scholar Dr. Shashi Balaji for the welcome address. Dr. Shashi Balaji is a member of the International Advisory Committee, Civil 20, President, ICCS India, and Dean, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan.
Namaste, all of you. It's a great pleasure for me to meet you on this special occasion of G20, and we are participating in the programs organized by civil society, that is C20, the working group under C20 for which we are working. We have organized this program is diversity, inclusion, and mutual respect. In perspective, there is a special perspective that we have with which we have organized this program, and that is education, because education is one of the main tools to build an inclusive society, and education is the tool to empower all levels of humanity. So when we talk about empowering all levels of humanity, then we have to talk about the role of civil society organizations. As soon as our Prime Minister declared that India is the host of G20, so he said, not everything, not all the programs are going to be held in Delhi, the capital of the country, but it will be Jan Andolan, means everybody, people from all corners of India, the villages, the streets, the cities, the towns, from everywhere, people will talk about it, because we do not know from where we can get a good idea. So the G20 aims at solving various problems. So the heads of the states are going to meet and discuss. So when India is the host, then it becomes our duty to tell the world what is India's thought and how India can contribute it for building a sustainable a society which looks at sustainable development. So the true meaning and relevance of the education system of India also has to be talked about. We are the people of the land of the rishis and munis who gave us a different kind of a vision. Our system of education was different. So we have to talk about, on this occasion, about the modern and also the ancient, about the government systems and also the contribution of the civil society. As soon as it was declared that civil society organizations will be part of this C20 and G20, then more than 2,000 civil society organizations immediately registered and became participants of this special event. So, what are we aiming at? Are we aiming at production of human resources and then bringing it down by technology-driven devices? Or we are looking for creating enlightened minds? So what is the present situation? What is the present system of education? And what was the situation in pre-independent India? So first of all, I would like to say the aim of education in India, according to our rishis, was different from today. As it is said in one of the shlokas in Niti Shatak, Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayad yati patratvam, patratvad dhanam apnoti, dhanat dharmam tata sukham. Means with Vidya dadati vinayam, what Vidya gives, Vinaya. Vinayad yati patratam, by Vinaya, one becomes a good human being. And after becoming a good human being, he earns money, but he spends according to dharma. And when he spends the money according to dharma, then he has true happiness. And it is said that Vidya Dhanam, Sarva Dhanam Pradhanam. Vidya Dhanam. Vidya is the main, the knowledge, education is our main treasure. So what happened? There was a shift from its Gurukula ashrama system to the modern university systems. There are certain challenges we are able to meet, but there are still a few challenges that we are not able still to meet. Approach has to be holistic as it was earlier. When our gurus in the Gurukulas, in the villages, in cities, in towns, they were sitting under trees. They did not need this kind of tools that we need today to build a school or a university. They were using natural tools. So we don't have time to talk about it, but we should know about it. But how to create an atmosphere, how to include the society at all levels, how to listen to them, how to talk to them. So I really appreciate the work that has been done by Flowering Tree. When I looked at your logo, Flowering Tree, the sloka that came to my mind is that flowers, that all the trees bear fruits, not for themselves, but for others. So the same you are doing. Your aim of giving education, enlightening the mind, it's not for yourself, but for all others who are capable of transcending from the lowermost spheres of thought to the highest spheres. Because every human being is born divine. As it is said, Hridayasam Bhavaya Devam. Everybody has a divine spark, but he has, through his virtuous actions, he has to be divine. Every day we say, in all our schools, we say, Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. So that is the motto of life, that enlightening the minds, to create enlightened minds so that they can contribute to creating a beautiful world. When I talk about Flowering Tree Foundation, so I was so fascinated by the work that you have done. The culturally relevant pedagogy in educational programs, employing the practice of listening. It's amazing because every country has a different approach to education and people are different, their mindsets are different. You do not worry about the limited resources. I agree, because we will always have limited resources because Your passion is so huge, it will never match the availability of resources. But anyway, whatever you're doing, the world is looking at you. The world today has an individualistic approach, and that's why they're suffering. People say, many of my friends say, loneliness is killing, unfriendliness can be deceitful, loss of faith is there. So what we need creating enlightened minds. Diversity is a law of nature. Every flowering tree looks different, unlike deserts. The ways of joys and pains are different all over the world. The aims and objectives of life are always different. But in spite of difference, we have a common goal, and that is building a beautiful society, including all. You have created space for diverse cultures, perspectives, ideas, backgrounds to come together. People are coming from diverse backgrounds, but they can come together. So life this way becomes a celebration, not a burden. When life becomes a burden, then people have suicidal tendencies. So I really appreciate it. You have given a platform, hailing people. Let's share our joys and sorrows, pains and pleasures, duties, responsibilities, and then after that come the rights. So according to our rishis, the purpose of education is to make a man aware of this larger life and to teach him how to reach that level. So what do you want? The definition, the understanding of education depends upon its definition. Do you regard a man as a physical entity? Then our approach to education would be of one kind. If we agree that man is a mental being, our approach becomes different. If you accept that man is a spiritual being, our educational formulations are bound to be different. But I would say that man is one, and he is an amalgam of all the three. You see, India is a different kind of a country. When I talk to village people, when I talk to people who have never taken any kind of formal education in schools and colleges, the knowledge that they have, we don't have after studying in universities and even medical colleges. So that knowledge has to be retained. When people were called illiterate, can you believe that the level of their educated mind was so high? There is some data given by the Britishers, for example, an official of East India Company in a report on the state of education in Bengal published in 1835, in the then state of Bengal and Bihar, he says that there were about 100,000 indigenous elementary schools. There is another British official who said that in 1888, there were 28 institutions of higher learning in the city of Calcutta alone. So there are others, such instances also, that India had a very high level of education before Britishers came. And it was all supported by the civil society, mainly by the civil society, I would say. So the aim of education you see, when we talk about different countries, I was so surprised when I first visited France. As soon as I reached Paris, I was so shocked to see that people are not happy there. I was thinking that it's a beautiful country, but if the people are not happy, then the country cannot be beautiful. Then I was told by some of my friends that here people are so much frustrated, they are so much in tension that they go to psychiatrists and take so much of drugs to release tension. In America also, the business of psychiatrists is roaring. So what is happening in the modern education system? The mind is restless, distracted. It's in a conflict. In India, we say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So there is a 3 levels of Shanti that every human being requires. The Shanti within, the Shanti with the society, and Shanti with the globe around you, with the cosmos around you. So we need a mind that thinks, that meditates, and then it is enlightened. And this is what we are doing. It is a restful mind. Whatever, as much as I could see, what the work that you are doing from Flowering Tree, I could see that the minds are really, they're not sick, they're healthy minds. What is ought to be taught you are teaching. Give up your egoistic life. Give up your narrow considerations and petty thoughts. Give up hankering and desiring. Develop fellow feelings. Enlarge your sympathies. Widen your horizons. So, in brief, I would say that from I, we are progressing towards we. In Sanskrit, we say ahankara to vayankara. And this is how you are building a beautiful society that celebrates the idea of vayankara. So going within, looking within, being introvert, exploring larger life in the world. So one has to have a strong mind for this. If this teaching is followed faithfully, it ensures vigorous, healthy, and long life. It is full of happiness. We have to strengthen the minds. We have to strengthen the bodies. We have to strengthen the brains. In Upanishads, there is a lot of quotations that are. A lot of quotations are coming to my mind on this occasion, that how we get beautiful thoughts given by the rishis in the Upanishads. Om Bhadram Karne Bhishunyam. I can go on and quoting, but we don't have time for this. But we have to build a strong character, controlling the desires, controlling the impulses, increasing power of concentration and will to work. This opens the hidden powers, and that is the basis of a fruitful life. We have to be purified. The mind, the soul has to be purified. Even the Greeks have been talking about, according to Plato, there is a higher soul and a lower soul. But we have, through education, we have to bring all of them to a certain level of existence, certain level of transcendence. So inclusive society through education is very important. What you're doing, teaching happiness, for integrity, for service, for harmony. I have seen people who are associated to civil society organizations and serving the society. What kind of mindset do they have? And I feel that everybody in one's life, for some time, he must do some kind of social work. You will create an atmosphere of serious inquiry, hankering for truth, for its own sake, service, respect for others, creating the path for higher education. So I'm really highly appreciate the work you're doing. The serious students this way observe simplicity, austerity, chastity, faith. This is what we need at all levels of life, whether it's a lower level of school level of education or whether it's a higher level of education. When a rishi gives the diksha at the end, when his shishya has to leave the Gurukula, what he says, follow what you like. Just think about it, ponder over whatever is good. Only that qualities of a guru should be followed, not all. So he gives there is a long Dikshant Samaro, there is a long convocation address. It's very important. I'll share you sometime how beautifully a guru talks to the Shishya when he leaves the Gurukula. So I hope you are doing well. I really appreciate and hope and wish you the best for moving forward on and on, because Vidya, the Jnana, is something that nobody can steal. Na chor haryam, na rajya haryam, na bhratri bhajyam, na cha bharakari. And Vyaya, nobody can steal it. Nobody has to. We don't have to share it like a property. Vyaya krite vardate. As much as you give to others, it increases. It is such a wealth which increases by giving. So Vidya Dhanam Sarva Dhanam Pradhanam. So today it's a great pleasure for me to have an opportunity to listen to all of you on this special occasion, because there I could see that there are diverse kinds of speakers that we have today from India and USA. So as an international coordinator of the working group, Diversity, Inclusion and Mutual Respect, on behalf of the members of International Center for Cultural Studies, on behalf of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and also on behalf of the Flowering Tree, the main participant, the main contributor of this event, and the Karma Foundation, I welcome all the speakers. I welcome Mr. Christopher McLeod, Alice Frick, Mohammad Nur Alam, Willie Doctor, Shri Virendra B. Joshi, Shri Prabhakar Goswami ji, and also our registrar from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan is there, Shri Rajesh Mishra ji. Although because of some unavoidable circumstances, our director, Shri Shobhadan ji, could not be there, but definitely he will listen. We are recording the entire event, so definitely he will highly appreciate the efforts that are being done by the Flowering Tree. So best of wishes, and I welcome you all the speakers and all those the entire team of Flowering Tree, and also all those who have joined us on this special occasions, my brothers and sisters. So namaskar to all of you, and thank you for joining, and my best wishes for all of you to move on in this march. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your thoughts on ancient wisdom of the rishis, and you very beautifully and rightly said that education is our main treasure, right? And every flowering tree looks different but has the same common goal. So here we are, all flowering trees here, having the same goal and coming here together on this platform today. Before the presentations, I invite participants to put their questions, if any, in the chat. Now we go ahead, and I welcome Ms. Alice Fricky, board member, who will introduce Flowering Tree. Ms. Alice is a New York-based senior investment professional and has been a board member of Flowering Tree for over 12 years.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us today to learn about Flowering Tree's approach to education and development. Flowering Tree appealed to me for 3 reasons. First, I spent my 20s in Asia, living and working in Japan, traveling extensively while I was there. And any place you spend that period of your life remains near and dear to your heart. So Flowering Tree gives me the opportunity to remain involved with Asia. Also, I'm from Appalachia, which is a pretty matriarchal society. And so I understand the importance of focusing on women and children, as Flowering Tree does, especially for engendering change. And finally, I've spent my entire career in finance. You know, the essence of finance is moving capital from people who have it to people who can put it to use in order to enrich both. If you substitute the word support for the word capital, you have Flowering Tree's mission in a nutshell. Flowering Tree, more importantly, in my industry, we measure success by the effectiveness of the outcome. And Flowering Tree's approach makes it exceptionally effective. You know, Flowering Tree does not look for problems to solve. Instead, we look for opportunities to help. Opportunities to help nascent organizations who are emerging from their own communities with solutions that are fitting to their context. And as our name implies, we provide those organizations with support to enable them to continue growing from the ground up. This approach naturally encompasses diverse and solutions. It encompasses the inclusion of the program participants in those solutions. And that in turn enables them to get involved in the development of their own civil society. It creates a virtuous circle of civil society development. This is a model that applies anywhere. As I mentioned earlier, I'm from Appalachia, the mountains in the eastern part of the United States. And this is certainly an area that has had its challenges, adjusting to a global economy that has been changing around it. And when I look at the communities here that are successfully integrating with that global economy in ways that enable their citizens to live with dignity and choice without having to leave their communities, in each case, that success has been because those communities looked to their own strengths, their own unique capabilities and culture, and began to develop their own solutions which fit their context. And definitely, they needed some help from the outside, whether it be an industry to invest or a grant to get a program off the ground. But in each case, the successes were those that were envisioned, initially implemented by the people living in the community. As you begin to think about your own regions, as we're watching more about Flowering Tree, as you think about your own regions and communities, I think you'll begin to imagine ways in which the Flowering Tree approach can help. Again, thank you for taking the time to join us. I'm very excited about what you'll see. And now we'll turn to a film about Flowering Tree.
Women and children discover the path beyond mere survival to a fulfilling human life. The flowering tree name comes from a 2,000-year-old Indian folktale about transformation. Each project is named after a local flower and is envisioned as the creation of a new story. Flowering Tree's geographic reach includes the countries of India, Indonesia, and Singapore. Current flowering tree projects in India include Anand, Shwetar, Harshingar, and Manav Gulzar. Flowering Tree has also completed projects Cambodia and Indonesia, Coral Jasmine and Flame of Love in India, as well as Yellow Flame in Singapore. Sumita Ambasta and Christopher McLeod founded Flowering Tree in 2006. They began by listening to counterparts in the field while visiting the various sites of their work. They adopted an approach that responds to the needs from the field. Two foundational pillars form the basis of the work of Flowering Tree. 1, listening. 2, building a relationship of trust. Listening fosters mutual respect and inclusion, where all are welcome to contribute their diverse perspectives, voices, and talents. Through listening, Flowering Tree aspires to form a relationship of trust with partners that engenders respect for shared values. Flowering Tree seeks a collaborative approach with partners where both problems and solutions are jointly embraced. We serve our communities through the ethos of seva rather than asserting privilege. Flowering Tree does not ascribe to a charity model of service where there may be an inherent inequity between the donor and the recipient. Flowering Tree has organized service trips for children from international schools in Singapore to its project sites in India. An experiential approach to the practice of inclusion and respect informs our service learning programs. First and foremost is the intentional practice of listening. This is the basis of mutually respectful exchange. Students have an opportunity to do seva or service. They become more mindful and reject assumptions that economic privilege indicates superiority. These and other inclusive practices create an approach to work that leads to mutual respect and acceptance. The Flowering Tree model of work integrates the inner aspirations of each person with external institutions and structures. The model nurtures fulfilled lives. We have built schools, transformed communities, and provided opportunities for change in the lives of countless women and children. We want to bring this unique model of civil society work to even more spaces through recognizing local voices. This is a harmonious model of education and development that relies on local culture. We invite you to join our mission to create a peaceful, inclusive, and diverse civil society.
Thank you, Alice ma'am. That was a wonderful video. It corroborated what you said about Flowering Tree giving opportunities to help nascent organizations and which help communities to actually look into their own strength to develop solutions. Thank you so much, Alice ma'am. Flowering Tree, as you will learn, is focused on bringing change to education and development. Now I welcome Dr. Sumita Ambasta to share her views on Flowering Tree's approach to education. I myself personally have known Flowering Tree since 8 years, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to be here today. So Dr. Sumita Ambasta, founder of Flowering Tree Inc., is an education and human development professional focusing on grassroots initiatives and the role of local culture in education.
Thank you, Sheila. And thank you, Alice. And thank you very much, Shashi ji, for giving us this opportunity to present our work. I thank everyone who has taken time on a Saturday afternoon for joining this panel, where I invite you to undertake a learning journey with us and learn about how Flowering Tree has approached education and development for the last 17 years. As you learned from the film, our name came from a 2,000-year-old Kannada folktale about the magical value of transformation that exists in every human being in nature. How we understand a story changes over time. So when we chose this name and we chose this story, it was for the transformational capacity of a young person. Today, as the globe and the world is facing environmental challenges and climate change, this name takes on an even greater significance about a human being's relationship with nature. Is that relationship about extraction and exploitation, or is it a relationship about mutual respect and developing the inherent capacity of the human being to exist harmoniously with nature? So our work has changed over time. And it has changed and evolved by listening to what's happening around us. The question arises, as Shashiji pointed out, what is education for? And we continue to ask this question every single day. The answers are as diverse as people. Some people think education is for livelihood. Others think that it is for growing as a human being, developing personality, self-esteem. But the highest scholars all over the world understand that it is for the complete development of the human being. Let us see what assumptions underlie our questions about education. People assume that when we speak of education, everyone means the same thing. They do not. People assume that education necessarily means learning. No, it doesn't. Sometimes it just means getting credentials. People assume that education only takes place in school and is in books. It is not. And you will see this from our projects, that learning takes place in so many spaces, and every space is an opportunity to learn something about oneself and the world. Today, everyone's talking about experiential education. So we go from one fad and one buzzword to another. We have built experience and practice into our model of education. Aspirations and dreams for children are different. Lives and practices are different. So then what is education for? And how can we come to an agreement about what education means for diverse people? A transformative education provides a young person the ability to build and tell their own life story. If they can tell their own story, they can change the ending. Education for transformation, for livelihood, developing capabilities, developing skills, and the full blossoming of the infinite potential in every child. Now, I'll shift gears and I'll talk about an inherent difference in the way we have undertaken projects. We have focused on practice rather than theory. The Futures of Education report, published in 2021, was drawn up over the course of 2 years and the inputs of over 1 million people. I read, we need to take urgent action to change course because the future of people depends on the future of the planet, and both are at risk. The report proposes a new social contract for education one that aims to rebuild our relationships with each other, with the planet, and with technology. These ideas are wonderful. There is no dearth of wonderful ideas in education. However, as we know, theory and practice do not always meet, as we observe every day in different contexts. Each one of us has had an experience that we might want to do something, but we are unable to do so. Is that inability due to lack of knowledge? Perhaps. Is that inability due to a lack of skill? Maybe. Is that inability due to a lack of self-knowledge? This is something to think about. The history of the world shows that there is a lot of gap between stated intent and practice. While we speak of diversity, inclusion, and mutual respect, people from the third world countries are not always included in the drawing up of policies. They are given policies that they must follow. The reasons for these are complex, and this is not the context to get into those reasons. Our goal in Flowering Tree is to recognize that complexity and find a way towards action despite challenges. Our pathway is through the recognition of local practice. There is an inherent inequity between regions of the world and the regions of even one country. India, as you know, is a very diverse country. And as Shashiji pointed out, the civil society work is so different in different parts of the country. A promise of equity in democracy and law does not automatically translate into development of capabilities and skills for all. The ability to create and access knowledge has inherent asymmetries. We focus on education to address those asymmetries and create pathways to lives of dignity. So we do not go in saying, you don't know, and you are ignorant, and you need to change, and you're traditional, or you're primitive, or you're not modern. That's not helpful, because people do live lives of dignity. And respecting that and including them in creating and accessing knowledge is what will address that inherent asymmetry. Every country has spent time to develop its own educational policy based on its unique historical, economic, and political context. We work within those boundaries. It's not our job to change those policies in civil society work. That is the work for policymakers. Global trends and national policies inform local realities. Just like the land determines what plants can thrive, the local and regional contexts have a great role to play in what seeds or policies or ideas will take root. It is only in implementation and execution that people adopt or modify what works best for them. Therefore, it does not help to talk down to anyone. This is a classical error in civil society work. Top-down policies, when they fail to recognize lived experiences, do not work. A lot of monies and aid funds are spent without transformation in the community. We all know examples that projects are started, and once the development or organization moves out, things go back to normal. We've heard about this many times. How can we change that? We know billions of dollars of aid falls short. So how does one work with limited resources and find solutions that are sustainable, that stay on even when the support has moved? How do we make ourselves redundant? It is only by co-creating these solutions. People have their own views and aspirations. This model of growth, where the educator or the social worker functions as a nurturer or a gardener in facilitating change is the only approach to sustainable change. Now, I will talk to you about transformation and how it occurs. What are the different aspects of transformation? The pandemic showed us many things. We saw during the pandemic that despite material strength, even in developing countries, people struggled with mental health across the world. People who had access to more were not necessarily immune. Children who could laugh, play, and had a sense of their place in their families and communities were able to face these challenges much better. Most policies focus on improving employment for the youth and skills and abilities. However, the pandemic demonstrated that resilience in the face of difficulty is an important aspect of mental health that affects the wellness of the entire community. How does one educate in suboptimal conditions? This is a question we have asked in every Flowering Tree project. And as you will learn that we have found different answers. Most of our projects exist in spaces where children do not have access to perfect nutrition, health, resources, and support from families. Does that mean that they cannot live lives of dignity? No. We recognize that conventional educational approaches focused on the external world only, and most developmental work focuses on cultivation of livelihood or skills to face the external world. However, this is not enough, especially in a world that faces conflict and challenges from the environment and technology. Just technical knowledge is not going to lead us to peace. Conditions are never perfect. Conflict and mental health challenges lurk around the corner, especially in communities at risk, which are the communities that we have worked in. But these principles apply even to communities which seem to have the best material resources, because as we know that mental health is a growing epidemic with increase in technology. And again, this is not the space to discuss all those issues, but as educators, we do think about it. We do think about how technology is affecting the lives of children. In Flowering Tree, we do not view the children of women simply as victims of their material circumstances. We recognize that their knowledge of the self will help them acquire agency in changing circumstances, imperfect situations, and periodic challenges. They need to learn how to face these challenges. The basis of this transformative education is inner and outer development. This transformative education unleashes the infinite potential in every human being. And we have tested this and we have found that it works, which is why we are so happy to present these projects to you today. Inner development involves invisible personal understandings and aspirations, which include emotional and spiritual development. Outer development is demonstrated through achievement and recognition, development of skills and capabilities that help one blossom in one's own context. Flowering Tree projects, therefore, act as facilitators, providing opportunities as needed for both kinds of development. This education prepares children to deal with existing structures and helps them develop an inner resource for meeting the needs of the future world. This is not a deficit model of education, where children and women are victims. It is a model that respects the humanity of every person and helps them develop that agency as far as possible, to lead fulfilled and happy lives. There are two interconnected aspects of personal growth and well-being. Inner development refers to the cultivation of the inner qualities. It involves self-reflection, self-awareness, and the development of inner strengths and virtues such as empathy, resilience, compassion, and mindfulness. Outer development encompasses the developments of knowledge and competencies that are essential for functioning in the external world, such as academic achievement, professional skills, legal literacy, financial literacy, health literacy, and practical life skills. The key idea is inner and outer development are interconnected and they influence each other. Balancing inner and outer development is important for holistic growth and well-being, while outer development equips individuals with the tools that they need to navigate the world. Inner development helps them have a harmonious relationship with themselves. People who have this kind of development do not create conflict in the world. They are able to have inner resilience, emotional intelligence, and a meaningful connection with others and the world around them. As we will see from our stories and our projects, Flowering Tree has responded to several challenges. With a collaborative approach, we have developed solutions that look very different in different contexts. Our focus is on practice, and that is what sets a model of education apart. Let us hear more about how these practices are different. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sumita ji, for your insights. Truly, what you said, transformative education brings about complete development of the human being, so that not only can he tell his story, but he can change his ending. Truly, what a profound statement that was. To add to Flowering Tree's approach to education, I now welcome Christopher McLeod, founder Flowering Tree Inc. With an extensive background in music performance and education, Christopher G is guided by a commitment to a vision of human flourishing and the transformative power of public service. He will describe the role of listening in Flowering Tree's work.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Namaste, namaskar, and welcome to all attendees from around the world. And thank you very much, Shashi ji, for inviting us to this very important forum. I'm going to talk briefly about listening. Sumita has given you the overview of our theory and practice of education, and I would like to focus on listening. It is key to everything we attempt to do. Flowering Tree is a US-based organization. We are honored to present here at Civil 20, hosted by India, and continuing with our theme of listening globally, listening locally, I would like to quote a philosopher of French origin, Simone Weil. I was reading Simone Weil in the period directly before we began the work of Flowering Tree, and I'm often reminded since of several vivid images from her essays. In her essay, Human Personality, she writes the following: those who most often have occasion to feel that harm is being done to them are those who are least trained in the art of speech. Nothing, for example, is more frightful than to see some poor wretch in the police court stammering before a magistrate who keeps up an elegant flow of witticisms. Some poor wretch in the police court stammering before a magistrate who keeps up an elegant flow of witticisms. Stay with me with that image for a moment. Perhaps you have directly encountered, have witnessed, or have learned of a similar circumstance. The philosopher's image captures the power of unbridled, privileged speech directed at a cowed and vulnerable individual. The description of this speech act serves as a direct contrast to the act of listening we have in view, and I feel it is helpful to mark at the beginning of my comments that territory. I always intuitively knew that I would be working in India. When I first came to India and Asia for our flowering tree work, in the field, I did little speaking. My contributions in those early trips, I recognized, would be through a quiet attending presence, being present, present to our counterparts, and present in the moment. This was at times constraining, especially for someone with a performance background, and I had some memorable experiences of intense frustration, but it provided a solid basis in beginning to understand the cultures, people, ways of being, and languages that were new to me. Even before Flowering Tree was a fully incorporated entity, Samita embarked on what we called a listening trip in India. She met with over 60 organizations to listen, observe, and learn about their visions, missions, activities, resources, and needs. This as a basis to understand the environment and conditions for work, and to begin to think about where and how we might be useful. We never entered the field with any preset designs or expectations for achieving set articulated outcomes. Yes, the numbers have been critical as has narrative and the reinforcement of the unique features of each project. Each program or project you will learn about in this session through short films and through discussion came about and enjoy their present stage of development through collective processes of listening, learning, and responding. The work continues to evolve. When you enter a formal music school, conservatory, or institution, either as a pre-college preparatory student or as an undergraduate, your required coursework includes several semesters of what is strangely called ear training. What is ear training? It is the development of oral capacity and the recognition of sound events, including pitches, intervals, melody, chords, rhythms, etc. What does that mean? You listen, you know, and you can demonstrate that you know. What I would like to propose here is a kind of ear training, a kind of knowing listening in the work of development, especially global development. What do we mean by listening? You will no doubt have your own very good ideas verified by learning and experience. Here, I want to emphasize that listening is a practice, one that can be refined through training, like musical ear training, every day, every moment, in every encounter and circumstance. A good way to enhance that training is by cultivating personal, individual quiet. This can be done through breath work, meditation, walks in nature, or attentive work in craft, like music, writing, or fine arts. Or again, attentive work in one's vocation, whether in the workplace or in other contexts. For me, music has definitely been a path, but likewise, quiet reading and reflection. If you're interested to read more about listening from a leading scholar I would like to recommend the book Listening, Thinking, Being by Lizbeth Lipari. I have a copy right here. Oh, don't know if we can see it. Again, that's Listening, Thinking, Being. The author's last name is Lipari, Lipari. Lipari ably brings together both Eastern and Western sources for new insights into an ethics of listening. I want to go back now to the picture of the magistrate and the poor wretch. The power that issues from the speech of the magistrate and the mute vulnerability of the wretch. This picture is an entry to our next film about Project Harshingar. Harshingar provides legal literacy for women so that they are equipped to make informed decisions for themselves, their children and families, and their communities.
When you empower a woman, you empower the whole family and thus the entire community. With this vision, Flowering Tree seeded the Harshingar project in collaboration with Marg in 2007. The project aims to develop the capabilities of women through legal literacy and to empower them to reject victimhood and acquire agency as citizens in a democracy. Harshingar facilitates the inner development of women based on cultural pedagogy. Outer development takes place through understanding the workings of law and governance. Harshingar works on including women in civil society processes in both rural and urban India. Through education in constitutional rights and existing legal provisions, Harshingar helps women understand the relationship of law to everyday life, making them active agents in civil society.
जैसे पानी खुला हुआ आ रहा है तो वो खुला पानी में छिपकली गिर जा रही है फिर वही पानी सब पी रहे हैं छिपकली गिरा हुआ पानी है उसमें से डुबा ले रहे हैं गंदे हाथ डाल रहे हैं तो वो पानी खराब हो जाता है तो उसके लिए फिर आगे लगाए कि हमें भी टैंकर साफ पानी दो ये गंदा को फिर सारे टैंकर पूरे साफ के टैंकर कितने सारे टैंकर.
After listening to the challenges of women in the field at length, our team recognized the need for empowering women with legal literacy, moving to a public role from a domestic space. Including women as active citizens in a democracy is critical to creating a culture of inclusion and respect. Women run their families and understand issues that can benefit the community. Helping women attain equal access to the resources that government offers transforms communities from victimhood to agency and hope. Harshingar takes an integrative approach by fostering allyship with men in the family and the community at large. By cultivating a spirit of cooperation amongst the men and the women, Harshingar promotes a more inclusive and supportive community that works together towards a harmonious society. Harshingar began as a pilot project in 2 villages in Haryana with women sarpanches. In the last 16 years, the project has spread its reach to urban Delhi and rural Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh, empowering more than 150,000 individuals. Today, more than 1,200 women paralegals, known as Harshingar Active Women Cadres, passionately drive change in their communities. With the support of local government and administrative authorities, Harshingar seeks to resolve issues faced by women in rural and urban communities. Women learn how to find solutions through legal channels by employing the following processes. 1, identify issues and establish a baseline for efforts. 2, discuss the legal framework and avenues for advocacy with interested community members. 3, meet with relevant authorities to address community issues to find solutions. 4, review and evaluate efforts and help communities become self-governing. 5, this process is iterative. The women identify issues and then learn how to solve them by becoming legally aware and active citizens. Harshingar has encouraged women to form groups and learn about local self-governance through panchayats and other governing units. Over time, women have steadily grown acquainted with the law, legal processes, and their rights. Women build partnerships with the government and other institutions that work towards including women in civil society. We invite you to join us in including and empowering women in civil society in rural and urban communities in India by supporting the Harshingar project. As evidenced by the success of Harshingar, together, we can encourage women to become active citizens who shape the future of the world's largest democracy.
I'm moved by the lines in the film which say, when you empower a woman, you empower the whole family and thus the entire community. What a powerful thought. To delve deep into this idea and further learn about Harshingar, we have Mr. Mohammad Noor Alam, the Executive Director of the Multiple Action Research Group in Delhi. He has been involved with this project for over 13 years at the grassroots level. He has over 20 years of expertise in civil society work, women's and child's rights. His guiding belief is that through active citizenry education, women groups can learn and values of gender equality and the importance of democracy and further explore their inherent skills and resourcefulness.
Sorry. Thank you, ma'am, giving me an opportunity to speak and wonderful screening of movie. And also, I'm on behalf of Marg, I would like to express gratitude to this platform, G20 platform, Civil 20 platform, and also all of the speakers. So I begin with a quote, sloka from Hitopdesh, which talks about Vidya Dadati, Vinayam Dadati Patra. Literally in Hindi we say Vidya se Vinay ki prapti or Vinay se Patrata ki. Or other we say knowledge gives humility and humility brings merit and deservedness. That's what we see in our project Harshingar, and which is still continuously we are doing on. So today I'm going to share a very different version of story in terms of education, which is normally which has been already talked about, but seldom we see in practice. So today I'll share a diverse perspective on education, that is legal literacy of women and also active citizenship education. Our experience from last more than 16 years as an institution. And personally, I myself is associated from this endeavor from the beginning itself, more than 14 years. So I see this project and this learning as a wonderful example of how if community, specifically women, learns about their rights, they knows about their economic rights, they know about their maternal health, they know about their entitlements and all. So it transforms society. And as we have seen in our movie also, that the stories are there. So I'll share rather 2-3 stories from our community and from different locations also, from Karnal, from Sauda, and also in Gorakhpur. So, and this will also give an insight that when women in a family learn about their all entitlements and proper understanding of their rights, so it will not only transform the women individual itself, also society, also the family, and then society itself. So we see that there are lots of examples of hopelessness in our society, and which transforms into a dissatisfaction, and ultimately that creates challenge to the diversity, and which will then definitely not promote mutual respect about each other, and inclusion will definitely go. So we, in our project, in our research, together with Flower Tree and Marg organization, we try to focus on this aspect. So when we started our intervention, as it happens, all socio-legal study and social research, that in the beginning we don't get acceptance. So to gain the acceptance and to gain the trust of the society, we requires little patience. And as we are today speaking on listening, so listening was really a very useful tool in the beginning, and it takes time. And I'm really thankful to our partner Flower Tree, and specifically Sumita ma'am and Christopher sir, that they really trusted us. You know, the word they are using, the trust, and trust was in their work itself. As I can see that normally in this kind of social research, organization doesn't give so much of time, and one can see the long association. It is itself a sign of mutual trust. So I really want to congratulate, and I really want to express my gratitude to our funder, especially Sumita ma'am and Chris sir. There is a saying in Hindi, and they say कि वृक्ष पर जितना ज्यादा फल लगते हैं, वृक्ष की डालियां उन फलों के बाहर से झुक जाती है. And in English we say, the more fruits a tree bear, more the tree's branches bend under the weight of those fruits. So Flowering Tree is one perfect example. And as an organization, I say that Marg basically believes on a world where rule of law, secure human rights, and democracy. So our focus area is we believe in justice through legal empowerment. So where we teach is we try to imbibe a sense of being, that as we believe that human beings, all human beings have got equal rights. So women and men both have equal rights, right? So normally we see that women are, of course, they are asked to play the secondary role, but also men are not engaged in that exercise, that how to make a society where mutual respect and diversities are respected and inclusion is there. So to boost up that theory and to believe that practice also in our work, so we try to listen from the community. So whatever the shape you can see the project Harsinger has got, it is not coming from our side. It is coming from the community side itself. So we we started this practice, and of course the partnership which we enjoyed with Flower Tree, and I must say that our visions were matching. So that's why we worked, and that's why we trusted each other. And mutual participation from the community was then the big achievement for us. The mutual trust from the community was this big achievement for us. So when we talk about value of listening and relationship, Marg also believes same as Flower Tree believes, and as almost all of us believe. So we see that when we go to community and we have to face lots of challenges. So some of the key points I can say, or concern I can say, that there could be some global concern. Okay, so and that could be a learning also from our project, that how to talk about gender inequality, lack of representation of women in leadership role, and also access to basic amenities and civic rights. So these were the a common global concern, and also the local concerns were there. Then when we talk and we talk about like entitlements and about the society, normally the link is lacking. So we try to promote that link. Also, lack of awareness about their all entitlements and rights. Sometimes we see there's so much of gender stereotype. So I will begin from here, sharing one example, one story, and our work area. So when we began in Karnal, and we started asking women to come in the meeting, and the volunteers, they used to go to their home to home, and they used to ask them to come and attend the meeting. So normally we used to face challenge from the men's side, and also from the gender stereotype. They used to say that these people are there to just break our home. So maybe they will create kind of a challenge to that setup. So we took time to win the trust of the society as well, and we try to link the local issues. Say for example, we see that many of the people were not able to get a job card, under Manrega schemes. So we try to help them that look, we are not there to break your house, or we are here to help you to access the civic amenities. So we try to help more than 100 women and men to connect to get their Manrega card, job card, and they started getting livelihood and all. So they started trusting us. So they started sending the women in our meetings and all. And later on, when we further, aage badhe, so then we see that these women started understanding not only about their rights, they also started expressing their wishes also, expressing their happiness, expressing their itself, apne hone ka ehsaas, of oneself. Of oneself itself. So there we see that that being transformation. They are now raising voice about if some woman is facing domestic violence, for example, other women will definitely be there, at least to make that lady to feel that okay, somebody is there to help you. Similarly, we try to engage them with the state bodies also, state authorities also, and that was also successful. And gradually we try to strengthen their participation in Panchayati Raj system also, which will be like giving them, which gave them a voice in the decision-making process at local governance. Then we also see we bring that example and that experience to our urban sphere in a slum settlement colony, Saudagera in New Delhi. And that slum settlement colony was quite relocated from various slums of Delhi during the development phase, during the Commonwealth Games of 2006 to 2010 era. So at that time, we see completely a breakdown in the habitation, huge number of population where they were shifted from somewhere else to outskirts of Delhi. And although they were promised with all facilities and all civic amenities, but it was not available, and we were trying to again engage with the women, because women mostly get affected because of two reasons. One, they have been considered as a second gender, and quote unquote through our patriarchal build-up, and they also have to take care of their household chores, and they have lesser voice and the lesser education and all. So then we again try to, build the confidence among the community. There was no community feeling. So then they started first understanding that together we can do something, transformation in our society. And active citizenship education came here then, and they started understanding their, all the entitlements all. And finally, some key issues were identified, and in the urban space of Delhi, in year like 2006 and 7 and 9, 10 and all. So we see that in terms of civic communities, basic facility like water was not available. So women decided that look, we want to just do some transformation in terms of our basic rights. So 3 things were there. So access to water, so access to public toilet, access to health services, and also there were some public transportation issues were there. So they tried to solve those issues, and it was not like very easy task doing one go. It takes time. So there we see the first achievement in terms of timely coming of water tankers, the first water ATM in India, in any community. That was Sadagewda. And the health facility, the civic rights, and not only this one, it was kind of a sparkling effect. So one by one, like one transformation happened, then which was that transformation leading towards another transformation. So, for example, first they sorted out the water tanker issue. Immediately they understood that they can also resolve the issue of going outside of the home for washroom and toilet. So they managed to functionally to make the public toilet functional with the help of government authority and the bus transport and all. So then we observe that a huge increase in respect to democracy, diversity, inclusion, and so on happened there. And afterward, these women become change maker in their society, not only like within their family. They have been accepted as a change maker in society. They used to go during the election time, whoever will come to ask vote in their locality, they will ask, first give me hame pani ka pipeline de do bhaiya, fir hum vote aapko de denge. And they used to get promises also. And in that locality, if you come and see, the water tanker is a history now. Now each of the household has water pipeline, and the population is more than 40,000. And now it is, I think, almost 50,000. And half of them are women, definitely. And another example I'll share here, that when women thought that they understood their rights and all the civic committees were coming up. So they started raising voice for each other in terms of, deep patriarchal practices also, So if you come to that locality, you will see less number of child marriage. You will see more number of, educated girls who are now, studying in courses like Master of Social Work, Master degree and all, and very less dropout. And not only that, the community has, access to their documents, their Aadhaar card. More than 95% community people are having their Aadhaar card. More than 80 to 90%, they have their bank account. They got their health services in their locality, and all the now the developments are moving on. So, and also one example I would like to quote here, since it has been discussed earlier by earlier speakers, that during the pandemic time, the law, this would be kind of amusing that when we were seeing the pictures of migration all over the northern part of the country, at that time, Savda was a place where no migration happened. And why? Because they all have those facilities, those cards, those entitlements. They got the facility, the free ration given by the government of India and the local government. So and nobody migrated from there. And also, these women has played a role in making the harmony in the society, acceptability about each other. Their women don't fight, or as a society, they don't fight among each other on the petty issues of any sectarian issue or all. So that's why we see that project and that learning in that urban sphere of Delhi was really successful. And then we tried to use that example to other part also of the country, and that was Uttar Pradesh, Gorakhpur. And there, when we took this project, so there our basic idea was at that time that access to civic rights, and not only access to civic rights, that is water, sanitation, and the health services, but also strengthening the elected women representatives and engaging the people, society, community members as active citizenship agent. So and it was like just before the we were starting this project, expanding this locality to that Gorakhpur locality, and the pandemic came. And this initiative was then our effort was very much successful in terms of when this locality, this community of rural area, again, nobody was accessing. Our team was working there over, and trying to spread the information about the right to and education about health and all. So it was really helpful. And now the good things are also happening, and success stories also started coming from that side also, that the leadership of women, especially in terms of Gram Pradhan, women Gram Pradhans, women block development council, and women district panchayat members, and our community has started accepting their role, because otherwise there is a kind of stereotype again society which normally consider women elected representative as mere parchai, kind of parchai of the men simply. So that is not happening in, at least in our intervention area. We are trying to spread more and more information and more awareness about the rights and equality about women and all. So what we see from all these examples, that the mutual respect and the diversity is not only should not be only considered in terms of certain culture or certain religious setup only, but it should be considered in terms of men and women itself, because in a society women constitute half of the population, and if they are educated, again I'll repeat myself, that the society may transform. So and we faced lots of course challenges during all those periods, and which I've already mentioned. So this much today I wanted to share, at least from our experience, and I will definitely would love to take questions if any questions are there, and also express once again gratitude toward, on behalf of Mark, gratitude toward whole team of Civil 20, specifically our chairperson, our chair for today, Ms. Sibalaji, Smita ma'am, Christopher sir, Sheila ma'am, to you and whole team, Ilaji and everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Noor Alamji. That was really powerful. That how, especially your sentence that one transformation leads to more transformation. And this you gave by so many examples of how women, when they're empowered through legal literacy and active citizenry, they brought about change in their own communities, whether it was putting up the first water ATM or stopping underage marriages in their communities. Truly, I'm sure these women will become leaders who embody diversity, inclusion, and mutual respect, all that we are talking about on this forum within a democracy. Now it's time to talk about another fragrance, which is the fragrance of arts in education. For the same, we have Anant program, established in partnership with Flowering Tree Inc. and the Light of Life Trust in 2008. The program has been transforming rural and tribal young minds through arts education and empowering them towards a brighter future. Let's take a look at a film about Anant.
Project Anand serves children from the marginalized communities of Maharashtra through arts education that includes music, dance, and storytelling. The pedagogy is based on local culture and language. The project provides opportunities to build livelihood, self-awareness, awareness of others, and creative self-expression. The name of the project is inspired by the region's fragrant white flower, signifying every child's infinite potential. Flowering Tree seeded Project Anand in partnership with Light of Life Trust in 2008, with a vision to nurture rural communities with the power of arts. This music, dance, and storytelling project has touched scores of children's lives in the past 15 years. Today, Anand operates in 15 centers across Maharashtra in the Raigad district, across Alibag, Karjat, and Mangaon zones. The project has grown year after year, directly transforming the lives of more than 1,300 children and has reached almost 7,000 families. Anand provides opportunities and platforms to develop skills and experience in the performing arts, enabling children to become active participants in their community and active contributors to their family and society. They learn to listen and become part of a culture of service or seva. Anand's design fosters both inner and outer development. Learning begins with meditation, which provides the foundational work for mental health. The project's signature is the development of self-concept, self-expression, and confidence to communicate in all settings. Under the guidance of trained music and dance teachers, with ongoing support from social workers, the participants naturally grow a better understanding of themselves and their aspirations. This dual-pronged approach constantly nurtures students to develop their competencies, preparing them to be leaders for tomorrow. At the heart of Anand is the belief that children learn best by doing. The project is hence immersive and participatory. Practicing, preparing, and polishing performances allows children to observe themselves and others. They are encouraged to experiment, take risks, and learn from their mistakes. They are not passive recipients of information, but active participants in the learning process. This inclusionary pedagogy helps them grow into confident individuals. Children learn essential social and interpersonal skills like teamwork, communication, and cooperation by working collaboratively. Anand therefore nurtures a sense of belonging, resulting in a safe and supportive environment for them to thrive and develop resilience. This approach strengthens their identity and prepares skillful, empathetic, and engaged young people for the future, all while having fun during learning. Over the years, Project Anand has flourished, achieving many significant milestones. At present, there are 771 students across 15 centers, while many others are on a wait list. 85 Anand students have made careers in music as teachers or performers. In 2013, Anand students won the Kingfisher Award for Saving the Girl Child drama at the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon. In 2016, the first live musical show, Kalpataru, was organized in Mumbai and Pune to showcase the talents of Anand students. We invite you to join us in our mission to unlock the potential of every child through arts education and prepare them to meet the challenges and joys of life. The success of Anand is evidence that bringing arts education to schools for marginalized students can pave the way for their holistic development and inclusion into mainstream life.
It's so wonderful to see these children blooming like delicate flowers and enchanting the world with their unique fragrance of talent, with the help of music, dance, and storytelling. To further discuss Anant and arts in education, we have Ms. Willie Doctor, founder of Light of Life Trust. Madam Willie established Light of Life Trust in 2002 with the belief that providing knowledge, skills, encouragement, and space to grow and exhibit talent and abilities, people from rural India who have been considered very ordinary and written off by society can do extraordinary things that defy description. For her work through Light of Life Trust and transformative impact on the lives of underprivileged rural communities, she has been awarded and recognized on international and national platforms. Please welcome Mrs. Willie Doctor.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you very much. Namaskar and my pranams to everyone on the C20 platform, promoting G20 as our mission, India. Let me welcome all the global leaders as well as the local leaders, educationists and friends to this platform. We have just witnessed a very vibrant and powerful video of Anant Flowering Trees Initiative in collaboration with the Light of Life Trust. And we have also seen the passion that is there in creating this entire experiment. Anant, as a beautiful fragrance, just started as an experiment. And that has grown to be a very powerful project. And from the project today, it is almost becoming a revolution in the field of education in rural India. Have you ever heard about arts in rural India? Art education in rural India is like a taboo. It's unheard of. It is something that everybody has a mindset that there is no platforms for such a thing, and this form of education is of no relevance to us. From a mindset like this, to modify and change everyone's thinking, particularly the parents of the children who have rigid ideas that their children should first look after the needs of the home and be involved in continuous development of the family to earning a livelihood for themselves. These are their priorities, and to have arts as an education introduced in their life space was unheard of. But as I said, we did create that breakthrough, and today it is almost like a revolution that is happening because the parents themselves are going from village to village and promoting this education for the children as they're seeing so much of fulfillment and growth and participation and energy, and also one of the goals, which is livelihood, being fulfilled by our mission. So let me congratulate right at the very start, Sumitra, thank you very much for making this happen. And thank you, Christopher, for bringing this light to the villages. Thank you for chairing this session, as we as educators need to pay attention to the policymakers to realize that it's not just the academics that we need to focus our attention on, but the holistic development of the child which is so relevant and important. And therefore, I want to reiterate again the sentiment of our mission at C20, which is Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And that is exactly the vision of our mission. And let's go through a short slide presentation that I have, which would be clearly giving you the whole picture of this project and how it shaped up through the years, creating thousands of success stories and empowering children, developing their personalities and making them today empowered human beings who are productive, expressive, efficient in their work, and very creative as well. So let's go through this little slideshow because that will give you an idea of our journey as Anant, which is an arts education project in rural India with Flowering Tree in collaboration with Light of Life, making this happen as first a local event, which could mushroom into a global event. And that is our dream. So let us look at how this actually got worked out. If you're to look at it, Civil 20, the mission is you are the light. And we at Light of Life Trust, we say we are the lights. So together, we as lights make this G20 vision happen of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which is one earth, one family, one future. And we've seen this happen in our project as people from diverse villages have come together and created absolute oneness through art and education becoming their light in life. What was our mission? Our mission was breaking the generational cycle of poverty, one life at a time. I repeat, breaking the generational cycle of poverty, one life at a time. Now, this, as we know, is the first sustainable goal, no poverty. SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals, are very inclusive locally as well as globally. And particularly for our country, we found that education was the route to break the cycle of poverty. And our hypothesis was that if children get educated, definitely the entire economic status of that family will be modified and the level will be at a different bar. So we gave them opportunities to excel themselves in all forms of education, starting with, of course, the academics, and definitely including fine arts and arts as a form of expression and community development, individual development of one's potential too. So let's look at our divisions now. Our divisions in the Light of Life Trust was Project Anando and Project Jagruti. Anando looked at education in terms of education being joyful and empowering. And Anant was a part of the whole. Project Jagruti similarly created livelihood training programs to develop the possibility of a vocational choice for the child to excel in life through growing one's skills, aptitudes, and possible vocational needs. So you realize that our two divisions supplemented each other, complemented, and created a complete holistic development for the child. And Flowering Tree, along with us, collaborated in partnership with us to bring about this big transformation. As we know, 4.5 crore children today drop out of secondary school in rural India every year. Can you believe that at the 8th standard level, when the government support is withdrawn, children drop out as they can start becoming earning members of the social structure of the family. This is a shocking statistic and needs to be addressed by the policymakers. And so at Anando and so at Light of Life Trust, we initiated this project in 2005, and we aim to reduce the secondary school dropouts. These are all children we selected from underprivileged rural communities in India. And believe me, there are such diverse communities in India. And yet, on this platform, we brought all of them together in understanding that at the heart of one's being is the humanitarian approach. And so that ensures that they complete their education and become productive and absolutely powerful individuals who can break the cycle of poverty. So it was fascinating that this journey took us through so many routes, and we ensured that every child was economically backward in our project. They were either orphans, single parent children, or tribal communities. So children from tribal communities are really very different from the village communities, which are sustained through other vocations and other cultures and other religions. And in this kind of diverse environment, we brought about some uniform change in each of them. Anant was our passion. It was our fragrance for transforming education and revitalizing our culture throughout the villages. And it was done through expressive arts, which were participative, which were joyful learning processes for the children. And added to that was our meditation as a module for a very basic, important development of the child. So preparing each student, not just for a living, but for a life was our motto. That is what I feel should be the motto of every educationist and every psychologist who touch the lives of these children. Anant, as an art education initiative, addressed the underprivileged children from rural India. As they were growing up, they did not have any parental guidance whatsoever. Imagine parents coming from such backward levels of understanding of the world. They have no listening skills, they have no qualitative understanding of life itself. Hence, these children also face so many challenges to survive. Survival was actually the real need that came up in these families. And therefore, Anant program was initiated in collaboration with Flowering Tree Incorporated USA. And that supported Anando children and their parents to overcome various challenges and discover their untapped potential. See, every child has tremendous potential, which is untapped. And through understanding, counseling, listening to these children, we were able to really tap all the potentials. And Anant has today transformed the lives of approximately 1,300 children in the last 13 years. As It was indicated also in the film. We are across 15 centers today in Maharashtra, and our vision is to spread across the 5 states that we are present in today as the Light of Life Trust Anando project. And I pray and wish that Anand also joins us to really handle the needs of the children in the 5 states of rural India where we are present today. Now let's look at the challenges that we faced on our journey. We encountered severe opposition from the parents because, as I said, music was a definite taboo. It was a taboo, unheard of, unspoken about. Arts was considered as a pursuit only of the rich people. How can you indulge in arts when you can't even have a plate of food on your table? So this was the perception. This was the mindset. And to add all to that, dance was perceived as being vulgar, common, and something that a decent human being would definitely not indulge. Of course, at the stage, the children were engaged in household responsibilities, and they were therefore indispensable. Like the older children had to look after the younger siblings. They had to cook, clean, wash up. All that was expected of the child. The children had a tight schedule at school as well. There were supplementary classes at school, and they had to attend them. There was a lack of discipline in the children. See, in the villages, children have no idea of time management whatsoever. Time is just space that flows and you flow with it, and discipline is just not there. And therefore, attending arts education class was like a big challenge. Now, many conflicts arose also between the parents and the children while pursuing the arts education. Every day there would be a fight, signifying that you're wasting your time, you're wasting our energy, you have to be working, we need money. You know, those were the kind of mental pressures that the child had. But we had to shift this rigid mindset of the parents and the children to get them enthusiastic about arts. And once that got achieved, the journey became much more interesting and fascinating, both for the children as well as for the social workers and the dance and arts teacher. So let's look at what happened then. We found that what is really needed and wanted was a foundation that creates deep roots within them. And so we realized that meditation was the way to go. We introduced Satya meditation, which took them to the path of Satya, Asatoma, Sadgamaya, which was our first challenge and vision. We therefore strengthened each one's personality and created an emotional mental foundation, a strong rooting in the present through the technique of meditation, training them in every class to sit in silence, to be mindful, to be aware, to be introspective, and realize that this is what will make them develop self-confidence, self-expression, and an all-round personality. So meditation firmed up the holistic development of the child through teaching them spiritual principles of love, compassion, joy, and peace. And this became a very important understanding, which I feel that all our educationists should make note of. that meditation as a tool for change and transformation of personalities needs to be integrated in every curriculum at the academic level. And I emphasize this because I have taught meditation across the globe to thousands of children and thousands of people who have benefited deeply from this. And having the tradition and having our knowledge base, which has been our heritage, if we let go, then how will this deep connection, this yogic connection, which is the union with the ultimate universal energy, happen to bring about the fullest development, self-actualization of a person? So let's take definite note of this aspect of education, which in Anant became a very powerful tool for transformation. Let's move on to see then how the process went. How did it all work out? Children were initiated first in a soft way with folk music and dance to arouse their interest. How will you arouse their interest? I mean, they don't want classical music, classical dance right at the start. Slowly, slowly then, they were introduced to classical arts. Children were selected on the basis of their aptitude and their interest in music and dance. So it was not just ad hoc, but a clarity of focus was there in terms of whose potential and aptitude is it to really benefit from these educational inputs. The social workers gauged if Anant will help the child heal through music and through dance. That is another aspect of the village children. They are shy, they are introverted, they don't want to participate. They have lived in very secluded environments, isolated in their own little space of a little hut, or sometimes not even a hut. And how will they then really benefit in terms of music and dance being therapeutic for them to revive their inner strengths, which are the personality dimensions of oneself? So along with it, there was also regular parental counseling. Parents were counseled, meetings were conducted, cornerstone meetings, evenings, social workers went to discuss the potential and the progress of a child with all the parents. It was really challenging, but we did not give up because many a times the parents were very vociferous and aggressive and anti this kind of training in arts. But the biggest transformation happened when the parents were invited to the child's performance. And this is when the parents first understood and appreciated the power of our Anant program. They saw that their children were really flowering, performing, having that confidence to be on the stage. And that was the big eye-opener, which caused them to start accepting the change. And so from the experiment, it became now a project. And then, as the parents were convinced, they started going from village to village, telling other parents, please, definitely, do make the children, do make your children go through this program, Anant. Do let your children study. And that voice of the parents became like a revolution in the field of education. And I feel that that was such an enlightening experience for all of us, for Christopher, Sumita, and all of us at the Light of Life Trust. We shared so much of joy when we had our first performance, the Kalpatru. I'll come to that in a little while, but let's first look at the outcomes of this project. The outcomes are fascinating and mind-blowing. In the villages, children started pursuing excellence. Can you believe it? More than 100 students at any given point of time today are at different levels of key national music exams. They're now on par with urban children, performing and taking very seriously the arts education. Like the Vishrad exams, which are so common right now with so many of the children. It's truly very empowering to see them. So empowerment happened. Academically weak students have now blossomed in various arts and expressed themselves creatively in different forms. So you can see that there is a kind of complementation happening to their academics, which has started creating individuals ready to become livelihood earners through arts education. Their holistic development happened as they okay. Just a moment. Slide this.
I think we are running late on this, so.
Yes. Okay. So cultural preservation, personality development, creativity, and critical thinking happened. Now, I think these are very important developments because they were now taught how to face challenges through discipline, hard work, and adaptability. So personality became resilient to challenges of life and adaptive in terms of all the new things that they wanted to express. Cultural preservation happened in the sense today they learn to appreciate our cultural heritage through the arts, which they learned. And they wanted to preserve our cultural heritage. So they became like a bridge between the other children and the generation of cultural heritage, which is again a very important point for us to keep in mind. Creativity and critical thinking started working out harmoniously as their left and right side of the brain started developing. And so the rational and creative dimensions were both harmonizing and integrating. This is very important for the child to develop as a whole. So these were some of the outcomes which were quite mind-blowing for all of us. And now come to the success story. Let's come to our success story. I'll just share about 3 success stories with you. One was Gayatri's journey. Gayatri was contemplating to drop out of school as academically she was poor and was struggling. Her mother worked as a tailor to make ends meet as her father was an alcoholic. Now, this is a common kind of complaint of every villager, that the father is normally an alcoholic. Anant ignited Gayatri's passion for singing and built her confidence. Overcoming stage fright, she excelled in this competition called Saregamapa and also other competitions. She became a star performer in our Kalpatru, which was our musical performance, and touched the hearts of people in Mumbai and Pune. So Gayatri, therefore, worked as a music teacher later. Professionally, she became also a music teacher and supported her brother all through his engineering education. Bhanudas finds his rhythm. Yes, Bhanudas depended on survival for his paternal uncle and cousin. He was pressured into school and starting work immediately by his uncle. But Bhanudas found his purpose and calling through the Anant program, and he was passionate about tabla. So as a bright tabla student, for 6 years he studied and finally got an opportunity to be trained under the renowned maestro Pandit Ramdas Palsule. Bhanudas currently works as a tabla teacher under the Anant program, inspiring and nurturing all the young minds. And finally, Mahadevi's marvelous transformation happened as she was passionate about dance. She transcended all the barriers, and I'll just run through it very quickly. As the principal performer in Kalpataru, Mahadevi's talent soared, and she then received her support from her mother and overcomes her father's opposition. Today, of course, Mahadevi was an important person for Anant students, imparting wisdom to them and leaving a lasting impact on the young minds. So finally, learning from our experiences, our Anant program had equal opportunities for rural as well as urban children on the talent platform. Anant also therefore goes beyond musical notes and dance steps and enriches the lives of in countless ways. These children have blossomed and flowered, and now they will sow the seeds of art education for the future. And finally, to end, education needs to be shaped to meet the evolving needs to actualize their boundless potential. It is a successful experiment, and it awakens the flame of passion amongst children. And finally, I say, when Goddess Saraswati is awakened, she showers everyone with tremendous arts, music, dance, and creativity, making life joyful and fruitful. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you for the patience. And we realize that as educators, we need to integrate this in our education policies and bring about the needed transformation for our children. Thank you. Thank you, C20. Thank you, Global India. Thank you, Sumitra. And thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Willie, ma'am. You rightly said that we have to prepare children and students not for living, but for life. And I'm sure that each and every child in the program is definitely going to be the light to dispel the darkness of social issues. Now, moving ahead, let us shift gears and learn about another community development project that aims at providing holistic educational programs for children, livelihood, and skilling development programs for women. Here is a film about Manav Gulzar, a collaborative project between Flowering Tree and Manav Sadhana.
Manav Gulzar, a community development project, was seeded by Flowering Tree in collaboration with Manav Sadhana in the year 2009 in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Manav Gulzar serves the transient population of the old city, both through holistic educational programs for children and livelihood and skill development programs for women. What began as a project that provided quality education to students in a non-formal setup blossomed into a formal center of education that brought sustainable change in the development landscape of Ahmedabad. For 4 years, Manav Gulzar worked closely with the community at Ram Rahim Nagar. The project was run out of a small rented room where the focus was to build the academic foundations of children and close the gaps in their learning at school. At Manav Gulzar, children were first provided nutrition and taught good health and hygiene practices. Women were empowered and skilled to take up job roles that helped them earn a living and better support their children. In response to the community members' need for a space where they could gather for educational, social, and recreational activities, in 2013, the Manav Gulzar Community Center was built. The building site was offered by the local community. It was around a Muslim dargah and a Hindu temple. Cherished bonds have been forged between community members and Manav Gulzar social work staff. The Manav Gulzar team frequents the homes of community members and listens to the people and their challenges. Thus, each Manav Gulzar initiative is tailored to the needs of the community. As the needs change, the program adapts to the community's needs. Some of the several activities held at the community center are tuition classes to supplement the formal education for children in the community. Livelihood and skills programs include tailoring classes for women, and computer courses are offered to help acquire skills for employability. The Annapurna program provides daily hot, nutritious meals to every child to ensure they receive the vitamins and nutrients necessary for their growth and development. Women's Savings Program is a financial wellness program that guides women to make sound financial decisions. The Nagrik Kalyan Seva Kendra initiative helps members with filling out forms and availing government services. Through these initiatives and other community rehabilitative work, Manav Gulzar strives to create a healthier and more resilient community. There was no time to play for the children in Manav Gulzar. To pursue adequate learning, they were required to attend government schools for half the day and continue their studies after school with tuition classes. Flowering Tree encouraged eliminating the need to attend school twice a day by bringing formal schooling to the children. A survey was conducted to understand the needs of the community. This led to the birth of Flowering Tree Open School in 2018 under the government Open School program. This brought a low-resource formal schooling model for children in the community center. This school combines academic learning and initiatives to foster happy, healthy, confident, and spiritually awakened children. The pedagogies are based on each student's learning style, supplemented by many extracurricular activities, leadership opportunities, and field trips. With a lower student-to-teacher ratio, the Flowering Tree School is a loving and safe space for the holistic development of students. Programs like Jugnu and the arts program play a critical role in the holistic development of the students. Since its inception, Manav Gulzar has positively enabled more than 9,000 individuals in the community. Today, more than 82,000 people have access to the Manav Gulzar Community Center for education, nutrition, skill development, or for recreation. We invite you to join us in our mission to strengthen communities through sustainable change. Flowering Tree Learning Center proves formal schools can run successfully under the Open School program. Join us. Let us build more schools celebrating diversity, inclusion, and respect for all individuals.
A holistic educational program, opportunities for livelihood, healthy nutrition, good health and hygiene practice, and an attempt to create a healthier and more resilient community are the characteristics of a true human, that is Manav. And to take us on to this journey further, we have Mr. Virendra B. Joshi, founder of Madhav Sadhana. Viren Bhai is the son of a freedom fighter, and his childhood was nurtured with Gandhian values and the tradition of serving weaker communities. He left his successful career in the USA, returned to India in 1989, and since then dedicated himself to serving the most disadvantaged communities. He founded both Manav Sadhana in the US and Manav Sadhana in Gujarat.
Namaste, everyone. I'm hoping it's coming through voice, and we happen to have our kids present in Gandhi Ashram. I'm sitting here right inside Gandhi Ashram, and these are the kids who are participating in our Earn and Learn program. Earlier, they were learning Sanskrit from a very amazing author. So they are here to sing a little prayer first, just to share the spirit of what we are all talking about, this inclusion and diversity and mutual respect. So I'm gonna request them to sing what we sing every day, twice a day. So, Yeshua, Sate. So thank you very much. I just happen to have kids right here, and just a beautiful, it's a clear translation of a beautiful Sanskrit sloka called Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Ugunastu, Sahviryam Karavavahi, Tejasvina Vadidamastu, Ma Vidvishavahi, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Let's all eat together. Let's all pray together. Let's all do beautiful work together, and let the divine light of Almighty shine in the hearts of all of us. That's the meaning of this sloka. And in all our centers of Manav Sadhana, including our Manav Gujarat, every day this verse is practiced and sung by our kids as a part of a value. And start in the beginning of our program everywhere, it starts with an all religion prayer. It's a long, beautiful prayer covering all religion, all faith, entire world. And that's our children participate actually singing, even in different languages. Okay, and they are taught the meaning of every single word that they're singing. And that's how the day starts. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thanks to this Civil 20, Shashi Balaji, just amazing. Your sharing, I heard it twice already, every time. So beautiful. And Sumita Ben, our partner, she's been a great, great mentor for the program. It's one thing to find a partner financially or even like a remote, but both Sumita Ben and Christopher have been on ground as a mentor and a real partner. So we love this partnership. Through that partnership, we are able to start this amazing organization called Manav Gujarat. So the mother organization is in Gandhi Ashram, and we're sitting right here in Gandhi Ashram, Ahmedabad, where Mahatma Gandhi lived for 13 years. And this values of inclusiveness and diversity and mutual respect are actually built in our DNA right here in Ashram, because that's what it is, that Gandhi's life was all about. Our mission vision statement is love all, serve all. That's what it is. And the name is Manav Sadhana. So you can just kind of understand that it's all built around that beautiful value that we want to teach our kids. And again, our focus is education, like what all you guys are doing beautifully. I mean, even our previous partners are doing such a beautiful work and amazing sharing that went on beautifully. We also do the same thing. Our work is holistic education. And a lot of it been non-formal for a long time. And we're doing it for 35 years. And one amazing thing I like to share, we have 150 Karyakartas, employees, but we like to call it Karyakarta. I think that's an amazing word. There's no really English translation of Karyakarta. Here are the people who who are working, not for money. They're working because it's close to their heart. That's called Karyakarta. And this Karyakarta are most of our Karyakartas are our own kids. As you saw this little kid, right? As they grow up with this value, also with academics, not just value, their holistic education becomes a great human being, and they want to come back and give it to the community. Not that they don't have other opportunities. Very likely they have a lot of great opportunity in the sense of making more money and earning more money outside. But this 150 or 130 have preferred to be part of the organization. Not only that, we took it to the one extra step, which is so beautiful, is to handing over the entire organization to those kids. Now they're not kids anymore. They are young men and women. So we chose 7 leaders from this 130 Karyakarta, and they are the leaders of this organization. So I'm talking about inclusiveness, right? So inclusiveness starts from the ground in with the kids, with the community. For example, when we built Manav Gulzar Center, you saw it in our beautiful video. That center was created with inclusiveness. It's the community leaders, community people, men and women were brought in to tell us what do they need, how should we build it. It was on a ground, on a paper, and they share their ideas. Similar thing with our other community centers, because we run 8 community centers in extremely underprivileged communities of Ahmedabad, and we reach out to almost 13,000 children every single day. And when we say reach out, means we literally touch their lives every single day. So in 30 years, you can imagine, just one rough estimate is 800,000 children we have so far worked with and served in a beautiful way. And so many have become amazing people. So our idea is holistic education in the sense they become a happy, contributing, good human being of our society, of our world, of our universe. And I think we have accomplished that in a beautiful way by instilling great values. Because we actually go as far as creating a curriculum of value education. We have 17 values that we identified, and these 3 are absolutely part of that. And these values are taught in a very subtle way, in a very fun way. So the kids going home are change makers, even for the community, even to the parents. If the parents start eating without prayer, this is what parents are sharing to us. Like, we love it because he or she comes home, and when you start eating, they ask us, wait, did you wash your hand? Or, oh, wait, don't eat. Let's pray together first and thank the Lord for the food. So this is the kind of change making happening, ripple effect around this. So in Manav Gulzar, for example, this beautiful center, we're also doing non-formal education. And as the video mentioned, now it's a formal school. It's one of our first in 7 centers that we created formal school, and it's being very successful. It's not easy. It's a new thing. 8 hours with the kids. We have to give them food. We don't charge a penny from any of our kids anywhere, right? We give them uniform, shoes, everything is all completely at no cost. And these kids are with us for 8 hours. And the formal school with 8 hours, and a very proficient and dedicated teachers we need. So that again is also a new thing. But so we learned in 3-4 years, and we got to a point where this formal school is also going beautifully, and the results are amazing. We just recently had a beautiful performance. Ananta reminded me of that we just had a dance drama in Tagore Hall, one of the biggest theater in Ahmedabad. And interestingly, the top player, or the people who play the main role, were from Manav Gulzar, obviously, because that confidence level, right? That courage, that energy that we could bring it out from the formal school. So it's been an amazing, successful journey, and you'll be also very pleased to know that that community is organically have a dargah, a Muslim worship place, and also have a temple, Hindu temple, right next to each other, right in the center. And we kept it. Our architecture has won actually several awards for creating this beautiful center right in the midst of this underprivileged community without affecting or changing or manipulating any other existing structure. And people, Muslim people come here, do their bandagi and their prayers, same thing with Hindu people. There's no, this is one community called Ram Rahim No Tekro, right in the name, beautiful. Ram Rahim No Tekro, where even when there was a vicious riots in Ahmedabad a while back, lately, thank God, there's no riots in Ahmedabad. But even in those days, not a single issue in this Ram Rahim No Tekro. And that's why we are there, because that's the value, that's the Gandhian thing that we're there for. Earlier, like I say, our kids were learning Sanskrit, but I was listening to the presentations of the different people. I could also hear verses that kids were singing. At the same time, yesterday, I was in Mano Gulzar, and our kids were learning some of the Urdu words. That was beautiful. And then today afternoon, some of our kids and our staff are in a nature park called Aranya Park, and they are in a butterfly garden, a special garden created by government, a beautiful garden, and it's all about butterfly. And there were a couple of thousand butterflies already live, which is hard to see nowadays in Ahmedabad. So teaching holistically in an environment where the kids can really blossom, right? And that's what it is. Mano Gulzar, what does that mean? Mano means humanity. Gulzar means a blossoming garden. So blossoming humanity is what we've been trying to create here in a very, very beautiful way. And it's been a fantastic experience for us. In the sense that since we are here for 35 years, and my background is quite a bit in US in education and also Mano Sadhana USA. So we've been able to create a lot of awareness, inspiration, sharing of our work and things like that in US also. And not only in US, has spread in other countries also. So as far as like diversity in the work, we have women, because of the holistic seva and service, we have women we were served, we parents, father who's drinking, we have alcohol addiction, anti-addiction program. Then we have working with their parents, the seniors, and Muslims, Hindu, and Christian, all of it, whoever is in Ahmedabad. Like for example, Mano Gulzar, 50% of our students out of 180 are from Muslim families. It's so cool to see in the morning all these women with burqas and in their traditional dress, you know, holding the hands of their little kid, dropping it off, giving them instruction, talking to the teachers, and all these beautiful things. So it's a great, great sight every day in the places like this. And then as far as like diversity across the world, because of our existence in US also and partnering with amazing organizations like Flowering Tree, we have a great presence in different countries also. Just from US alone, 4,200 volunteers have shared their time, energy, and life with us. They actually were down 4,200 in 27 years. And some came from a year, 6 months, 1 month, 2 months, all the way to 3 years. And then they have 2 volunteers who never left. They're like me. I came, never left. Same thing. We have several people from different parts of the world, super educated from Harvard and Stanford and all those universities, and they just given up their ambition of career and money and enjoying this life of getting a just immense happiness and satisfaction in working in grassroots, nothing but grassroots. We have no hierarchy, we have no supervisor, no manager. Our day starts with all religion prayer. And that's our management tool here. So one time I was invited in Stanford and I was supposed to share how we manage our organization. And when I told them that we manage through prayer, and which is all religion prayer. And of course, all the professors were super confused. And I had to tell them that you have to come and see what we do first, then you will understand. So it's been a beautiful experience. And all these amazing youth that coming from different part of the world. So lots of them, let's say from US, we have from UK, from Australia, Guatemala, Israel. I mean, I can just keep counting countries. And all these people, we don't invite them. It's all word of mouth. That's the beauty of this journey, right? Because people are telling each other. They send us email saying so and so, and we have a beautiful staff here who are the coordinators. When they come in, orientation, all of that, there's no picking of projects in advance. They have a freedom to come in here, connect with the kids, connect with the staff, connect with the organization, and find a project that they feel works for them. And then we give them a space to live here and give them a nice Gujarati food in the afternoon. So it's been a beautiful journey, and it's two-way street because they bring in so much energy and so much new dimension, new ideas, and also contribute in a lot of ways up here. And our Karyakarta loves it too. So it's been a great diversity and experience of amazing respect with each other. And the beautiful thing is the impact of them grassrooting, because the transformation, the organic transformation of their lives, all these volunteers and all these youth is so powerful. Just right now, as we speak, we have a girl from college. Her mom served with us back in 2002 and 3 in a community called Manav Jatan when she was in college. And now she is a very successful professional, medical professional in California, San Francisco. And she couldn't wait to get her daughter the similar experience. So it's been in generation. We are into second, third generation of this transformation. So far, we have touched 800,000 children lives, and many of them have become artists, policemen. Two kids went to Army, one in Air Force, one or two doctors, several nurses, and lots of teachers. Even we have 130 right from that. The kids who were doing shoe shining, the kids who were rack picking, little girls, became graduates, double graduates, speak beautiful English, and communicate beautifully, and manage these programs like volunteer programs and all. We don't do anything. I don't do anything. Our kids do, our youth, do all of it. So it's been a beautiful journey, and I am so happy because this topic of this Civil 20 is so close to where we are, to our hearts, because in our culture, teachings like Shashiji was mentioning so beautifully, because that's what Gurukulas and Rishis were teaching, these values, right? And this values is the education. Of course, academic is needed to survive. So that is what our effort is when we call it holistic. We try to balance the academics and values, so they became a good and wonderful human being. And I really, really appreciate this opportunity that we have received today to share some of the thoughts. As you can imagine, it's and some stories are some amazing stories. So I really would request, because it's such a big organization and we've been serving for 35 years, we have 43 projects, and we actually touch lives of 18,000 people, because 13,000 children and some mothers, some seniors, older moms, every single day, that many people. We have 6 kitchens, kitchen staff, very holistic food, milk, fruits every single day. So it's a beautiful army who are ready to give and serve, the serving element. That's what we have. So it's a great journey. I love it every day. I wouldn't want it any other way. My life is just purely a blessing. And somebody was mentioning just living in the present, and that's what my life is all about. Every single day, every morning, I wake up, see what's in front of me, how we can serve more, how we can contribute more. And it's been a great journey. So I think we are running late also, I feel. So I'll stop it here. If you got more interested, please go check our website, or if you even can write us. Now we are all connected beautifully. So again, thank you very much. God bless you. And appreciate all the effort from everyone, Sumitaji, Shashi Balaji, and everything. It's a beautiful gathering, virtually. And we thank you for doing this. Salam namaste.
Thank you, Viren Bhai. Very beautifully put. Let's all eat, pray, and do beautiful things together. It's really fascinating to see someone taking inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi's value system and applying the same in curriculum, keeping the modern context alive for community development and education. As we have dipped into the seva or service aspect, we must explore it further with another project. Shwetark, a flowering tree and I-India collaboration for street, slum, and vulnerable children and communities. Please have a look.
Shwetark is an educational project that serves vulnerable and migrant populations who live on the streets of Jaipur, Rajasthan. Shwetark was launched in 2010 by Flowering Tree in collaboration with I-India to mainstream marginalized children through transformative education, healthcare, security, and nutrition. The project derives its name from the Shwetark flowering plant found in Rajasthan, which signifies beauty, life, and transformation. The Shwetark team had many meetings with the communities living on the footpaths and bastis in the slums of Jaipur. Through engaged listening, the compassionate teachers and social workers of Shwetark understood the struggles of the communities and designed a creative and transformative journey, a pathway to a life of dignity. It was necessary to develop a low-resource and rehabilitative educational solution. Most children in these spaces belong to uneducated and illiterate migrant families struggling to survive on the streets. The children presented with poor health and faced homelessness. Shwetark street schools brought schooling to the children where they lived, since they did not have the means to travel to schools. Over 7 years, 15 Shwetark centers were opened across Jaipur and its suburbs, addressing the needs of 21 communities. A well-rounded curriculum promoted fun while learning. The beautifully fashioned tents of the Shwetark street schools inspired children to come to school, receive water to shower and drink, eat food, and learn while playing. Shwetark improved the physical and mental well-being of the students through regular health awareness camps and checkups. The Shwetark model of learning enabled students to stay up to speed with the educational levels taught in regular schools in case of transfer or mainstreaming. The team also undertook efforts to help slum inhabitants obtain critical legal entitlements such as UID, Aadhaar cards, voter IDs, and medical insurance so that the empowered parents could support their children. 1,000 families have also participated in the legal awareness programs organized by Shwetark in a campaign for inclusion. Over the last 10 years, Shwetark has reached 1,500 adolescent girls and women, helping build a stronger community. Through the efforts of Shwetark, the local development authority of Jaipur first rehabilitated several slum dwellers by providing small housing units. This access to housing turned out to be transformative for the communities. By listening to the community's needs, an education project for children became a community development project. In 2011, the Rajasthan state government implemented the Right to Education, also known as RTE, Initially, 50 Shwetar students secured admission into government-run schools across Jaipur, but the dropout rates soared considerably as children discovered that the compassion and care that had brought them to Shwetark street schools were no longer present. Shwetark 2.0 was born, paving the way for Shwetark Pathshala, a state-accredited school. Founded in 2017, Shwetark Pathshala met the educational needs of the children who had earlier studied in our street schools. The school, housed in a beautiful space, is sparking the light of learning for more than 375 students in standards 1st to 6th. A total of 416 students have benefited from Shwetark Pathshala since it was set up with a state-of-the-art curriculum and pedagogy. The Shwetark project has made significant progress in improving the lives of children. Since its beginning, the program has benefited over 3,700 households and 8,700 children in 21 communities across Jaipur by building supportive networks for communities. Our team has helped 1,737 children secure admission into government and private schools through the RTE program. Shwetark's after-school support program has helped 300 students by providing them with academic support. 1,275 slum dwellers secured free housing with the help of Shwetark. 1,000 children received UID Aadhaar cards. Shwetark developed a group of peer educators trained to become agents of change in their communities and address local challenges. The Shwetark project coordinator, Sheila, now chairs Jaipur Child Welfare Committee, Jaipur District, bringing her grassroots experience to children's care, protection, education, treatment, development, and rehabilitation. Children's essential skills like reading, writing, arithmetic, hygiene, and sanitation have improved. Shwetark provides an aspirational model of holistic education with arts and sports, culturally relevant pedagogy, and instruction in the local language. The new Educational Policy 2020 talks about all these aspects of elementary education, but Shwetark has successfully implemented it over a decade. Our school is successful. Community-based education is sustainable and transformative. Visit us, join us. Let us create more beautiful schools that will include children who suffer from being exploited, deprived, and marginalized. Children can move into the mainstream and enjoy fulfilling, meaningful, and productive lives.
That was truly the case of if Mohammed doesn't go to the mountain goes to Mohammed. It takes a mammoth journey for a program to transform itself from an education program to a community development program with challenges of the migrant population's access to education. Solutions of taking the school to their communities is a journey of its own. Here we have Mr. Prabhakar Goswami, founder iIndia, taking us on this decade-long journey of Shwetark. Mr. Goswami was an associate professor of sociology at the University of Rajasthan. His research on social and economic issues and his upbringing in a Jaipur slum moved him to leave his academic job and start an action-oriented organization. In 1993, he founded iIndia, and since then, he has dedicated his life to the service and upliftment of children and marginalized communities.
Namaskar. A big thanks to the organizing group who gave us an opportunity to become part of such a prestigious Civil 20 under G20. Thank you very much. You just saw a film on our journey of innovative education program in the street and slums of Jaipur city. And you saw how we are implementing this program, how integrated program is this, and what we are serving to the children, and how we are accessing and approaching to the society for the good functioning of the program and society. Shrotark was started in 2010 in collaboration with Flowering Tree, an international organization based in Singapore and USA. So it is a journey of last 13 years when we try to understand the dynamics and diverse community pedagogy to be adapted for them, which provide them inclusion and mutual respect as part of member of society. Actually, inclusion, diversities, mutual respect, all these things are inbuilt in the program itself. It is part of the program from the very beginning. When we started this program, these were the basic components to begin with. Shwetar's, a holistic educational program, was derived from the grassroots experiences of the iIndia. And iIndia was established in 1993. So we had 30 years experience of learning, experiencing with the street children, child laborers, children of prostitute, and other people of the community. And we were working with these category of children who were roaming around the city, who were engaged as a child labor, who were working as a housemaids, who were begging on the street, who were rag picking, and some people or some children from the traditional art for performing children also, who were working on the street, earning their bread and butter. But unfortunately, there was no agenda of education or schooling in their life that time. Most of them were out of school. They were not going to school. School was not part of their agenda. They were just ignoring the education. So it was our concern. Most of them were chewing the tobacco, smoking, having drugs, using parallel defective normative behavior patterns, fringe value structure as their lifestyle. There was no normative behavior. There was no perfect value system among them. So it was a matter of concern for us to address these issues. I thought I may be the right person for them. A good friend, mentor, guide, and maybe change maker also. As I myself was born, grew, and developed 50, 60 years back in a slum area of outer Jaipur city. My early childhood was spent on the street and slums, roaming around the streets, but fortunately, my father was able to support my education. My mother was a strict socialization agent also, and she was aware mentor also, who forced me to stay on educational track. I was awarded University Gold Medal in Masters of Sociology from University of Rajasthan. After my BA honors degree in economics. After further some degrees and experiences, I got an opportunity to become a lecturer in sociology in affiliated colleges of same university where I studied. My research, investigative journalism, and TV radio program presentations made me very close and intimate, sympathetic listener to society in general and children in particular. I could have talked to them. I could have asked them what is their problem, what are their goals, what are their dreams, how to make them true. That was my subject of interaction with them. My wife, co-founder of iIndia and chief coordinator of this Shwetar project itself, Mrs. Abha Goswami, remained with me from very beginning of the project. Her situational crises of early childhood became strength of our program. Because when she was born, she lost her mother. Within a period of 1 year, she lost her mother. When she was 16, unfortunately, she lost her father. She was like an orphan. But at that age, in this 16 years age, she was forced to go to a school, a primary school, and to join a job of a teacher, music teacher, because she was a member of a family where music was a traditional subject for their socialization. So she tried to join that school for earning the bread and butter for herself and also taking care of her two brothers. But in spite of all these odds, she became a strength of our organization, iIndia and Shwetar program, who provided us an empathetic listener, a teacher, a mother, a sister to realize poverty of orphan and destitute children. She directed why education and livelihood are important in early life of such groups of children. She taught lessons related to self-respect and mutual respect and its importance to development of individual and society. Because she all had that experience, that bad time. So she learned during her socialization, early socialization, what is poverty, how to address this poverty, how a orphan child think about his future, and how he struggles with all these problems. She was knowing it and she was implementing in the program by heart all these things. In initial years of establishment of organization, we got two important research studies from UNICEF and Government of India. That was a situational analysis of the street children and children of prostitutes in the selected districts of Rajasthan. It gave us an insight and deep study of the attitude and behaviors of the children, their families. It also explained what are the limitations of a social worker and what barriers and challenges stops him to developing such groups. So it was a great experience of our life that we conducted research study for UNICEF and government on the problem of street children and children of prostitute that time. And that established our organization in the field of street children. That established our project in the field of the slum dwellers. That established our program in the underprivileged children sector. Fortunately, we got a series of points, list of do's and don'ts, and wish list of community people and leaders, and it grew and developed the plant of Shwetark in Rajasthan and made flowering tree interventions and monitoring with globally value-oriented and meaningful thoughts. So it was a basic foundation of the flowering tree. It was a basic foundation of the Shwetark program. And with the results of the Shwetark programs, we got a very good tree of flowering tree, which guided us, which mentored us, which helped us, and which gave us a direction in the field of education, running a school, running centers, and switching over to from the center-based education to formal schools. Dr. Vijay Shankar Vyas, an eminent economist and former director of Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, told in one lecture that in development model, a family should be considered as a unit, not an individual child. So it was a very important tip in our life that what Vijay Shankar Vyas told us, for any developmental work, an individual child, girl or boy should not be a unit of consideration. What should be unit? Unit should be family. If you want to help a child, first try to help a not individual child, but try to help the complete family. So when we started working with the slums groups, it proved very well that if we will try only for a child, it will not work. It will not serve our purpose. So what we did, that in our slum area, we had been running a school under the tree that time. Under the tree, and some rented kacha houses. But we switched over the tent schools. And these tents were made by mothers and elder sister of the students studying in the tent schools. Women were given a reasonable remuneration for it, food, and it gave them confidence, empowerment. Now they were happy coming out of their home, engaging themselves in a dignified job, singing songs, watching their children studying, reciting poems and tables. So for bringing girls to our educational centers, we try to attract the women group of that slum area also, and try to give them a specific job so they can come to the centers, they can feel confidence, they can gain, and they can seek empowerment. For that purpose, we did this work, and finally, due to this, we found that attendance of children increased and motivational level also increased in that group. Eventually, what happened with this tent program, Gudadi program, eventually a Gudadi program was launched in identified slums of Jaipur, where women group was empowered through making rugs and picnic rugs to learn and earn as a manifest result. But latent result was more enrollment of their children in educational centers. Especially girl child enrollment was increased in vertical graph. So when we started this Gudadi project for the empowerment of women, and we gave the money to those women, we gave alternative job to these women, then we found that increase of enrollment in our schools was increasing like a vertical graph. So, if you want to work with the children, you should also think over their sisters, mothers, brothers, father, their job, their confidence level, and so many other things. So inclusion of various diverse group of children, especially migrant children, child laborers, beggars, slum dwellers, have been our priority along with students of urban and rural background under Shwetar project. So Shwetar project is basically has included so many categories of the children who were underprivileged, who were below poverty line, and who were deprived by all the means and facilities. Under our rigorous outreach program of Basti Sampark, tracking the contact points, our counselors, teachers, peer educators try to listen them as much as possible, understand their problem, and make a roadmap sitting together to go further. It gives consensus and confidence to the project to drive in right direction and path. So our listening, this flowering tea people, especially Samita, is very much concerned about the listening from the people, listening of this, so is listening in the society, listening in the group where we have been working. Listen to the children, their parents, other stakeholders, government people, teachers. So listening is our very, very important component of this program. Many children were found engaged in taking care of siblings, going as a part-time workers to earn livelihood. So we designed a program according to the need of particular families and provided alternative methods as well. Presently, so many students come along with their siblings and attend schools. Small babies are taken care by other deputed staff, and they also serve some food to these small children to eat, some toys to play, etc. So actually, if the big sister, older sister is coming, older brother is coming, but she has a 2-year baby in the home, 4-year baby in the home. Mother is going to work at 6 at morning in the 7 or 8. She returns at the evening 7 or 8. Father is also going. Who will take care of that baby? So that baby is being taken care by a student of 6th class who is registered in my school, but she's absent. She's not coming.
Excuse me, Goswamiji. I'm sorry to interrupt. In the interest of time, can we try and wrap it up?
Yeah. I will conclude very soon.
Please.
Yeah. So if you want to bring that girl in class 6, you should also allow the other small babies or kins or her small sister and brother who can come with her. So this is also very important thing. And I think we also started legal awareness program in the Shwetar program. We gave the identity to the people. We gave Aadhaar card to the people. We gave ration card to the people, children. First time they were registered with the registrar registering authority for the death and birth. And also they were made aware for the public facilities, state government facilities of health, so many things. And now resulting that some COVID vaccination was done at their doorstep. Sometime pulse polio was done at their in the slum itself. So many things were doing and things. And also I would like to mention, I would just concluding, I have big point, so many points, but I have given allotted less time. And in our program, the listening is very important, and oral traditions, oral communication is also important. So in our program, we invited storytellers like Nana Nani, Mama Mami, and they told the stories, and textbook based stories also, and other traditional stories also. And one of the storyteller got the Bal Sahitya Academy Award this year, who was engaged with our organization for a long time. And during that time, we corrected her thoughts also, and she also corrected the thoughts of our children. Similarly, we did this street plays, and also play written by the Munshi Premchand, this Bade Bhai Sahab, and lot of things. So we emphasis on the listening, communicating, and understanding. And we really appreciate the Vedas and other granthas where Shruti is important. Shruti is important. And we also believe in the Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. So I'm just conclude with all these remarks that Shwetar program is a complete program for with the all components of this Civil 20, all targets and all messages of the Civil 20, and we follow and we act and we implement all principles of Civil 20. And I'm very thankful to the organizers. Thank you very much, our community leaders, people, students, dedicated teachers, committed and devotional peer educators, and all stakeholders. Salute, and big salute to the flowering tree represented by Sumita Ambasta and Mr. Christopher. Organizers of Civil 20 deserve special thanks and appreciation. Thank you very much, all of you who are present here, who are connected with this program, who have been participating with our program. Thank you, Shashiji, for allowing us to become a part of this program. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Goswamiji. Help the child. To help the child, you have to help the family. Very importantly said, making the parents empowered and the community empowered will ensure that the child flourishes. We have heard a lot of speakers today, and to conclude the evening, I invite Mr. Rajesh Mishra, Registrar of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Delhi Kendra, to conclude with his thoughts.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is a great occasion that we are interacting with visionaries in their respective fields, and with the topic that is diversity, inclusion, and mutual respect. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Shashi Bala, who is our Dean of Center of Indology in Bharati Vidya Bhavan. And Bharati Vidya Bhavan is very proud to be associated with the C20 movement. Our director, Shri Ashok Pradhan, has been, supporting the cause of inclusion in many respects. And in our institution, there are many educational, setups have been made, including one school and colleges and other educational activities are going on. And in every program, we used to start with Sarv Dharm Prarthana to, feel and to, realize that we are all one. Our paths are different, but at the same time, we are all one. We are very grateful for talks from various visionaries in their respective field, Mrs. Alice Sprecher, Dr. Sumita Ambastha, Christopher MacLeod, Mr. Muhammad Alam. Mr. Muhammad Alam just mentioned about one Sanskrit shloka, that is Vidya Dadati Vinyam Vinyadyati Patratam. Thereafter, I want to finish that Patratva Dhanam Apanoti Dhanat Dharma Tatha Sukham. Basically, the meaning is that Vidya Dadati Vinyam, if you see, Vidya is, that is education, gives the politeness. That means we are humble. Vinyadyati Patratam means if I am, Vinayshil, I am humble, then I can get the Patrata means competence and eligibility. And then Patratva Dhanam Apanoti, if I am competent, I am educated, then I can get the money. And Dhanat Dharma Tatha Sukham. If you have got the money, then you can certainly get the Sukh. So I am very thankful to Mr. Alam. I am also grateful for the contribution of Veli Doctor, Shri Virendra B. Joshi, Shri Prabhakar Goswami, and there are many participants, and I just want to thank them all to be associated with the noble cause of the C20 participation, and certainly the deliberations which have been held here would be included in the final session of C20 when in September all organizations gather. With this, I just want to mention one thing, that our director, Shri Ashok Pradhan, has been helping various institutions to come forward and associate with the cause of Bharati Vidya Bhavan. And Bharati Vidya Bhavan is an institution which has got 107 centers, 107 centers across India, and even 9 to 10 centers abroad. And we are spreading the message of love with our motto, the promotion of Sanskrit and Sanskriti. So I am grateful for the organizations to give me this opportunity, and to thank you all. Thank you very much, and we will meet soon. Thank you, Dr. Shashibala. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Well, I will conclude the evening. Dr. Shashibala, you wanted to say something?
No, I just want to thank you all, including you yourself.
Thank you, ma'am.
And also Dr. Sumita Ambasta and all the speakers and whatever the team, the entire team who is involved in organizing this program. And it's amazing to know, really, I lack words of appreciation. But please, I have requested Dr. Sumita Ambasta to send me a report. And finally, we shall, when we have the recording now, because it's on YouTube. So I think others, more and more people will have a chance to watch this program. And it's really highly, highly appreciable. I'm really thankful to you all to bring this to the world.
Thank you, everyone. I stand here very proud today to be part of this event. And thank you to Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Delhi Kendra for making this happen. And thank you very much to Flowering Tree Inc., Sumita ji, Christopher ji, Alice ji, and all the visionary speakers who are here. And another thank you to Flowering Inc. to have given all the visionaries an opportunity to bring about change in a trailblazing way. Thank you very much. And with this, we conclude the event. Namaskar.
Namaste. some mood.
Hello. Hello.